welcome to the fourth and final part of the S13 6-liter drift build. In this one, we're going to be finishing up the wiring. I already got the belt on. This is actually a custom belt I had made because the stock LS1 Camaro didn't fit. I don't know why, but I don't care. It runs now. I'm going to put the power steering lines on, the clutch line, get everything bled and primed. Going to start getting all of the wires labeled off the micro squirt. Going to start building the board itself, start putting the chassis harness in, wiring the lights, wiring the tail lights, windshield in, the radiator in, get the dash in, e-brake, but that's pretty easy. So we're going to get right into it, start putting some lines on, go from there. And yes, this is the same shirt. I can only ruin so many shirts before I have none. So, and yes, it does smell exactly how you think it does. Bad. Alright, so if you have an LS swap in your 240, GK Tech supplies you with these adapters to a 6AN. So this longer shank will go into the rack itself. There's a 14 mil and a 16 mil, I believe it is, or it's 16 and 18. Bigger one's the return, obviously. And then I went to my local hydraulic store. They made me up this line that'll go from the actual pump to this fitting, which is just a 6AN. That'll complete the pressure side, and then I have some push lock fittings and some leftover fuel line that I'll use for the return. We're at Cooper's, gonna get the e-brake mount chopped out of some 1/4-inch steel. I was gonna buy one, and then I decided we're just gonna make it. So here we go. We just got back from Coops. He got me the e-brake plate made up. I got the exhaust welded up. The GoPro died, so didn't have any of the footage of us bending the bash bar. But this is the exhaust that just goes onto the header, kicks out the exhaust. Put those on. Got the bash bar bent up. Didn't record that either because it died, but it was pretty simple. Going to get the exhausts on, finish the doors, adjust them, get the oil filter installed. I know I was gonna do that last video, but there's just so much to do. Let's get to it. Let's get to it, bro. We gotta get power steering lines installed. I just did 2 90-degree fittings in here to the back. I got the return line right here, low pressure. Pretty easy, just put it on the nipple right there, and that would be good to go. Oil filter mounted here. I've got the lines run back underneath the headers across next to the starter, underneath to the pan, where it plugs into the far back side right there. Going to get the exhaust outlets put on, see if I need to trim these at all. I'm thinking they might be just a little bit long. I might have to trim them up to about midway. I'm actually gonna point this one the same direction as the left side because the fuel lines are right here and I don't want these to light on fire, if you know what I mean. All right, ordered me this drive shaft. Just found it on eBay, you know the deal. Oh. Alright, now we're gonna get the radiator installed. This one is actually for a Camaro. I was anticipating putting it into the back right away, but I'm not gonna have enough time to chop it apart and actually do it right. So I'm not gonna do it at all. I'm not gonna just kind of put it together to make it work. So I'm gonna put it up front here. There's absolutely no room for this radiator up here. So it's gonna be sticking out like about this far. I'm gonna tilt it forward, kind of keep some clearance, but there's no hood on here anyway. but I'm gonna build some brackets from these pickup points to the top of the radiator. Build some kind of pad that clips around here that'll hold the base, and then I'll build a bracket that either screws down to the tension rod framing, or go around this and build a strap, something like that. But I'm gonna get this thing installed and then start wiring the ECU and the chassis. Well, I thought the GoPro was recording, but it wasn't. So got these little aluminum brackets mounted up. Should be good to hook. Everything's pretty solid. So got the hoses mounted, got the steam port pickup here. It's actually for a sensor, but I'm using it for the steam port return. So got the lower on, just got the filter, get that installed. I'm gonna start doing the hydro brake actually. I got to get the plate cut a little adjusted to the seat, and then I've got to mount it, get the brake mounted, and then I can start connecting the lines to the back. We got the plate here. I made it a little bit long. I didn't know exactly where it was gonna be sitting, so I'm gonna have to trim this just a little bit. I brought it all the way out to the middle to get some rigidity out of it, but I did use quarter-inch plate steel, so it's very sturdy. I'm not gonna have any problem getting this thing mounted properly. I actually could even gone a little bit tighter on the shoulder, but it looks totally fine. So I'm going to get some measurements, get it mounted. Actually, that's not bad deal right there. Nah, it needs to be back here. All right, so we got it modified. Gonna get it placed in here. I think I got the angle right. My shifter is gonna be pretty close, but without having one at the moment, it's just what it's gonna be. I mean, it might be first, second, might be right on it, but if anything, I'll just put a little bend in there, get it away from the handle, because I like the placement actually. Not gonna interfere with my hands on the wheel, and it'll be easy to access. I might need to adjust it so I can have more throw and not end up too close to me, but that's pretty easy to do after the fact. Oh, this thing feels f***ing buttery, dude. So we got the handbrake in, she's good to hook. Now I need to make the lines. Going to flare a couple of fittings. Should be good to go. All right, so we got the e-brake lines installed, all the flares done. I hate flaring brake lines, but you do what you gotta do, I guess. You get this thing filled up, start bleeding it, and hopefully feel some brake here in a second. All right, so we got the battery box in and the shut off. Once I get this mounted on here, it should make the box a little bit more rigid to hold the switch here. So it does move a little bit. Not bad. Now I'm going to run the 12-volt power up to the front, where I'm going to distribute it to the starter and the computer and accessories. Get the ground on, get the switch hooked up, and then start wiring the micro squirt. So here we are again with a micro squirt cutting board, a lot of connectors, some solder, and a soldering iron. I'm not going to go through the wiring of the micro squirt like I did in the video with Yoshi. I'm just going to show you the setup, and then I'm going to start wiring it because it's Tuesday and the drift event is on Friday. Freaking out a little bit. So I'm going to get this mounted, get the wires run. I'm going to get the 5 volts out to the sensors, going to get the 12 volts to the injectors and the coil packs, and then I'm going to get all the sensor bit data back, and then start getting all of the chassis harness and the engine harness to communicate. Just little things here and there to share some power. Need to get the alternator wired up, so I'm going to actually wire the alternator with one trigger wire. You can do that with a 470 ohm resistor in line to pin B on your alternator if you have a LS1 or a late 90s, early 2000s alternator for an LS engine. And then you just run power to the back of it, and it'll feed back 14 volts once you apply power. here it is. I just mounted the harness to this. Keeps everything nice and sturdy when you actually mount it in the car. It gives you some kind of plate to actually mount to the chassis. Pulled the 12-volt power from the harness because it's going to come inside the cab. Pick up power off the chassis harness. You're not going to use like half of these unless you're running, you know, flex fuel sensors and an actual O2 sensor to read back to the ECU. We're just cavemanning this shit and just doing the essentials. So I'm gonna start getting, gotta get the ECU mounted, and then I'll start running wires and then cutting length, and then running 5-volt reference to the sensors, 12 volts to the coil and injectors, and then start grounding everything out and go from there. So I got the car completely done. I got all the wiring done, fuel system done, I got the coolant system done, I got everything installed, I got the chassis harness, everything's up, everything was good. I was working till 2 a.m. the last 2 nights. I'm running on 2 hours of sleep right now. Took it down to Eric to go put it on the dyno. We got it started. It was misfiring and 3 cylinders were dead. 4, 6, and 8. So we figured it was either the coils, injectors, or the fuel system not supporting it. Dug into it. It seems that whoever built the engine decked the block or decked the heads and used factory push rods. So when you take up that material, when you deck the actual block and head, you lose, it's pretty minute measurements, but that rod, it stays the same length. So it means your valve is going to hang open no matter what. So we did a compression test. 2, 4, and 6 were hanging open with 0 compression, and I couldn't get a replacement set in time to get everything tuned and ready for tomorrow. So I'm going to order some push rods from Texas Speed. Might get a couple other goodies from them, but that'll do it for this video. I hope you liked it. Sorry there's no, you know, finale where we drive the car or anything like that, but this is how it goes sometimes. I'm going to get everything finished up. Once I get the push rods, I'll get them installed. I still got to do little things here and there, windshield, got to finish up the front end a little bit, headlights, blinkers and stuff like that. But that'll do it for this video. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, just keep up with your boy.